Yeah, no, you know what? I think would make for a good topic just for a few minutes here is buy box. And the reason that I want to talk about that is we have 23 units under contract right now in
Hmm.
one on one parcel, right?
Oh, that's right.
That would be amazing to just add to the portfolio, but it's not in our buy box. And the buy box for Mike and I is, typically somewhere within 20 to 30 minutes of our office. Um, and it really doesn't necessarily matter the price range, but it has to have a good return on investment. Either it has to be at the 1% rule, or we got to be able to buy it at 70 to 80% to be able to BRRRR it. And this particular 23 unit building that we have under contract right now, it's an hour and a half south. So, not that I don't want to buy it. I think it's actually a really, really good deal. But we don't have a property manager that can cover it, right? So we'd have to get a new property manager. And there's new, basically challenges that arise with having properties spread out all over and then having to manage multiple property managers and whatnot. So buy box, guys, figure out your buy box when you're going to be investing. If you're starting off wholesaling, then anything and everything will work. And that's what we're doing with this particular deal is we contracted it because it was a good deal. But then when it comes time to figure out what we're going to do with it on the dispo side or the other side of things, it doesn't fit the buy box. So just resort to wholesaling.
Yeah, it's a great analogy or way to look at it is calling it the buy box. I like that. A lot of people, it's like, what's your buying criteria is the most common question that we get, as buy and hold guys. And yeah, it's kind of difficult to define because for Dave, it's really like he just said, he'll buy anything that's a good deal, even if it's 2 hours away and it's outside of what he was referring to as our buy box. Like he's not necessarily going to say no to a smoking deal. Why would you? Again, so that little apartment building, I wish we could keep it. I'm in the same mindset. Like that's a great one.
Mm.
It's underperforming because the current owners are they're very kind and they actually built this from the ground up and they just haven't done a lot of rehab to it. They've done a lot of maintenance to it, so it's in good shape. But man, it would be sweet if we could go in there, rip out the kitchens and baths, and then up the rents 100, 150 a unit, uh, charge you tenants utilities, and shoot, we'd have a huge return on it. Like I'm
Right.
not disagreeing, but like Dave said, since it's an hour and a half south, we don't have one, the property manager, but two, then to make our crew or to find a crew down there to actually do that work for us would be another undertaking. And when we're managing new crews, we got to keep a little bit closer eye on them, so it just doesn't work for us,
Right.
unfortunately. Even though it is a great deal, so we're going to sell it, and I think it's going to be a great one. So our buy box, what are
It'll be
our
a six-figure
criteria?
wholesale. So we're going to be doing good on it regardless, Mike.
Yeah, no tears for us, please. No tears for us.
That's right.
So the buy box. I mean, let's talk a little bit more about what we buy, Dave. We again, it's really anything in a that meets our criteria. And like Dave said, it's either that 80% or or something that hits that 1% rule. And we're
Well, the
really
1%
looking.
rule is basically, just a simple rule, guys, that basically states that you're going to collect 1% in rent. So whatever the number is to purchase, and typically it's not just a purchase. We like to look at it as like, what's our all-in number? If we can buy something for 90 grand and put 20 in it, that's 110. 1% of 110 is 1100. So are you able to buy it and be all in at and then collect 1% of the rent? So at 1100, if you have a loan at 110, that typically means that you're going to have, a decent amount of cash flow. So that means what's left over of that 1100 after you pay your taxes and your insurance and you factor in maintenance and you factor in capex and you factor in your management and then you also factor in your vacancy. It pretty much guarantees you what is it, Mike? Maybe 200 bucks a month, 150 bucks
Yeah.
a month.
Well, and
Not a ton,
it
but
depends if you use what you're into it for versus the ARV or what the value of the property is. Because we'll even use like the actual value of the property. So if we're into it for 110, let's say it appraises at like 140, we really want to see that rent around 1400 a month, as opposed to the 1100. But again, 1%, super quick, simple thing to use.
Mm-hmm.
1,100 to 1,400 on rent on something like that, and you're going to make those cash flow numbers that you need to make.